Purple Positivity with Justin Ekstrom, brought to you by 7th Avenue Pizza. Grab one at your local grocery store or your local holiday station. 7th Avenue Pizza, before pizza became trendy.
Welcome into another episode of Purple Positivity. I'm your host, Justin Ekstrom, at the Sports Crib 21 on the Xverse or Twitterverse, whatever you want to call it. Apparently, I have some raspy thing going on with my voice today, but, whatever. It sounds even crustier than normal, but who gives a shit? It's fall, I guess. I don't know, allergies, what be it. Anyway, maybe the Vikings are suffering from some of the same stuff because they are 0-2 now. It almost played out exactly as I predicted on this podcast last week, about a week ago or so. I said it was going to be 35-28, and it turned out to be 34-28. So, man, I was way off. Either way, the Vikings looked a lot better offensively. It's just that offensive line is awful. Kirk Cousins is going to explode one of these hits one of these days. Anyway, the Vikings actually brought in Dalton Risner, whatever it is, brought him in. I'm assuming eventually he's going to take over for Ed Ingram because he is atrocious. That is some bad stuff. I'm seeing PFF grades in like the 40s, I guess, or so, and that even seems high. I don't know. I'm not sure this offensive line, the way it is, can go much further, especially when you lose Oli Udoh, and it's tough, man. Like, it is obviously one of the toughest things you're going to possibly deal with when you have a crappy offensive line. But we've seen teams in the past, like the Steelers, and we even saw the Packers a few years ago, and even the New England Patriots, like when their offensive line was terrible a few years back, you can get around that. Either way, the Vikings defense seems to be a little better-ish, I will say. And the problem is they still can't stop the run. The Eagles are awesome at the run. We get that. We understand that. We know they're going to run. They're good. They have anybody that they can have, and then when they have a running quarterback like that, that's the exact same thing. It's going to be tough. Vikings defenses, for whatever reason, scrambling quarterbacks, running quarterbacks, they, for the last 8, 10, 12 years, they cannot deal with it. I'm not sure why that is. Either way, here we go. We have a home underdog situation. Vikings in the past have done pretty well in home underdog situations. Not in the playoffs or anything like that. They usually just have issues with winning games that they're supposed to win. Either way, this one, just like I told you in the first week, we have the Vikings, the Twins, all these Minnesota sports teams. Anytime that there's a team that you're supposed to beat in a critical situation, they don't beat them. But every once in a while, you're not supposed to beat a team in a critical situation or non-critical situation, and they beat them. So that's kind of where I'm leaning this week. In a weird bout of extreme positivity, I think the Vikings win this game. I think it's because the Chargers defense, I believe they are 31st or 32nd in the league right now. Of DVOA, whatever the hell that acronym means. I have no idea. It's something about defensive efficiency or whatever it is. And the Vikings should be able to exploit that. They have a little trouble with the running game right now. They can't stop the run and they can't run the ball. If you're an old school football guy like me, that's usually the recipe to success, is stopping the run and being able to run the football. I know that was that's kind of an 80s mantra, 70s, 80s, even mid-90s mantra. But right now, they brought in Cam Akers, too. So now they got Dalton Risner and Cam Akers. And for those of you bitching about the Cam Akers, like making it sound like it's a grasping at a straw thing, they just traded picks in the 5th or 6th round, whatever it is. And you get a guy, Cam Akers, which I thought Ty Chandler was going to be KOC's Cam Akers. Remember Cam Akers a few years ago when the Rams did win the Super Bowl, he's the guy that kind of was the catalyst of that. He came off healthy and he looked like a battering ram, like an absolute Energizer bunny that just could not get tackled. I'm not saying he's the next coming of like Todd Gurley or something like that for an offense that needs somebody, and he's definitely not going to replace Dalvin Cook, but his outside zone running is exactly something that this offense needs. You got to be able to stretch those linebackers. You got to be able to stretch the defense, make them commit into an inside run and be able to run outside. That's a big key to this offense. In my humble opinion, I'm not the smartest human in the world, but seriously, I am predicting the Vikings are going to win. This one's going to be a shootout again. I think it's going to be another nail biter, and both these teams in the last 3 seasons, I think they have a whole shit ton of one-score games between the two of them. It's 20-some apiece, I think, just between the last 3 seasons. Either way, I thought I saw 25 and 24 or something like that. But my prediction here, I'm going 35-31 Vikes. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be fun. I think the defense is going to be able to do just enough against a non-Austin Eckler San Diego, weird, LA Chargers offense that should do enough and get the win. I'm hoping it's a little lower scoring because that means the defense, stop that offense. But Justin Herbert, he's a star, man. Keenan Allen, absolutely star. Their offense is awesome, but so is the Vikings offense. 35-31, you heard it here first. If that's the case, great. I hope so. If I'm just off by 1 point again, great. I'm fine with that. I just want the Vikings to get out of here 1-2. They need to. They're 1.5, 2-point underdogs at home, so that means the odds makers or whatever think they're going to lose by about 5. I think they're going to win by about 4 or 5. Either way, at the Sports Crib 21, make sure you follow Beer Belly Sports. Special thanks to Matt the Giraffe Geffrey. I swear, if you guys see him run from first to second base or from first to the outfield trying to catch a fly ball or a pop-up, you will know what I'm talking about with a giraffe reference. He looks like a wounded giraffe, a wounded baby giraffe, or one of those giraffes that just came out and were struggling around a little bit. Either way, thanks to those guys. Those guys are funny as hell. And follow along. And as usual, skol, bitches.